Recorded in the annals of the celestial heavens, a chapter seldom dared to be rewritten. Recap. Tales of Herding Gods, chapter 1137-1140, opens with Jiang Baigui's vital qi splitting into 500,000 gods and devils, an unstoppable tide aimed at the legendary Great Formation. Picture of Dragon Mountain Sanren. Yue Tingge, whose name had become synonymous with genius for breaking this formation once, now faced an opponent whose mind danced ahead of the known rules, twisting the heavens into a new 28 heavens formation with the ancient Glassy Sky Pagoda's egg at its heart. Amidst this, Qin Mu watches the celestial stage thin with troops and swell with tension, the air charged with swords that split halls and gates alike. A quiet dread settles. Founding Emperor has arrived, and the celestial order braces as inevitability approaches. Who will bend and who will shatter when might and intellect collide on a scale even the heavens themselves fear? Imagine a force so cunning, so audacious, that it bends the very fabric of the heavens. Today, we dive into a clash of intellect, cultivation, and celestial strategy that would leave even the most seasoned masters breathless. This is not merely a battle of strength. It's a contest of minds, of foresight, of ultimate mastery over formation and fate. In the Dragon Han celestial heavens, a legend unfolds. Jiang Baigui, a man whose genius rivals the ancient sages, unleashes 500,000 manifestations of gods and devils, each woven from his own vital qi. Across from him stands Yue Tingge, the famed heavenly master who shattered the unbreakable Great Formation. Picture of Dragon Mountain Sanren, the pinnacle of formation artistry for hundreds of thousands of years. For a mortal, or even a powerful cultivator, this formation was incomprehensible, a dizzying labyrinth of light and intent. Yue Tingge had mastered it over decades, carving his name into the annals of the celestial world. But now, he faced a challenger who saw the picture not as a puzzle, but as a canvas to dominate. What Jiang Baigui did next was audacious. Unlike those who would painstakingly dissect a formation step by step, he charged directly to the core, the heaven ball, the ancient god egg of the Glassy Sky Pagoda, the heart of all power in the formation. Rather than striking it outright, he surrounded it with mirrors, binding it, and then orchestrated his army into a cascading series of inversely deployed formations. Each move was a stroke of brilliance, as delicate and complex as the Great Formation picture itself, yet faster, sharper, and more fluid. Yue Tingge could only watch. Stunned. Here was a man who condensed what took decades of planning and 1,000,000 men into a strategy requiring minimal forces, minimal casualties, yet achieving complete dominance. By making the heaven ball the pivot of a new 28 heavens formation, Jiang Baigui didn't just break the ancient formation, he replaced it. The old order crumbled. Every formation skill, every protective layer, dissolved under his calculated pressure. In that instant, a new 28 heavens formation rose, with Jiang Baigui as its sovereign. There's an artistry in this, one that speaks to cultivation beyond brute power. He understood the interplay of vital qi, spatial manipulation, and formation logic at a level even Yue Tingge had only dreamed of. When Yue finally admitted his awe, it was with the humility of a master recognizing a peer. Years of struggle, millions of lives, countless sacrifices. Yet Jiang Baigui had done it with a whisper of effort, and in that acknowledgement, a bond was forged. The two geniuses, Yue Tingge and Jiang Baigui, found in each other a mirror of intellect and ambition, a rare connection in a world where ego often blinds even the wisest cultivators. Meanwhile, in the wider celestial heavens, the tension escalated. Qin Mu, ever vigilant, observes the strategic mobilization of celestial forces. Half the heavens, armies converge upon the Great Void for a decisive clash, leaving Celestial Street eerily empty. He calculates the minimum number of celestial venerables required for a flawless victory, weighing each variable, anticipating the outcome. His insight is sharp. Only if the founding emperor and Lang Wo can hold the line will the Great Void remain usable for weapon refinement. Failure is unthinkable. Stakes are immortal level high. And then, a spectacle of might and presence. Founding Emperor himself arrives. From the Jade Capital, his carefree sword cuts reality, bending space to isolate himself from the elite Imperial guards in pursuit. His movements are casual, yet every step radiates authority. He confronts the Celestial Emperor, unmasking centuries of deception. forcing the heavens to recognize that strategy, intelligence, and supreme cultivation can eclipse even the most fortified legacies. Here, raw power is complemented by insight, courage, and the audacity to act where others hesitate. What this chapter truly highlights is the layered brilliance of Xianxia combat, not just fighting, but thinking, perceiving, and innovating under pressure. Formation mastery, vital qi deployment, spatial control, and intellect intersect here in a symphony of strategy. We see the emergence of alliances born from respect, not politics, genius acknowledged by genius, and we glimpse the looming tension of the Great Void, where even the combined might of the celestial heavens can be tested by singular resolve. So the question hangs in the air. Will the founding emperor withstand the celestial onslaught? Will Qin Mu's calculations prove correct? And what new heights of ingenuity will Jiang Baigui and Yue Tingge reach as they reshape the very laws of formation mastery? In the celestial tapestry of the heavens, every action ripples across eternity. And today, the stage is set for legends to clash, not with brute force alone, but with intellect that bends the cosmos itself. Imagine a single man standing beneath a fortress that has held sway over countless heavens for eons. His aura alone splits the sky in two, and yet his sword has not even left its sheath. This is no ordinary confrontation. This is the founding emperor approaching numinous sky treasured hall, a place of immense power, where the balance of celestial heavens trembles on the edge of a blade. Chaos has erupted across the celestial heavens. Gods and devils, once the pillars of order, now scatter like leaves in a storm. Some flee, others plunder, and many simply hide behind illusions of safety. It's a vivid reminder that beneath the shining veneer of divine authority lies rot and corruption. Even the so-called celestial officials are forced into a moral compromise. Survival depends on obedience to powers far beyond them, whether that power be the old celestial emperor or this newly arrived force. And then, the confrontation crystallizes. Celestial Venerable Hao appears, radiating supreme authority. He stands before the hall, the weight of his pre-celestial Tao pressing down like a mountain. Here is a being whose bloodline and cultivation make him nearly untouchable. But the founding emperor, carefree, confident, and unyielding, does not flinch. With a half-revealed blade, he casually reminds Hao that audacity isn't always a crime. It is strategy. This is where the story sharpens. Hao commands multiple heavenly palaces, overlapping and radiant, a testament to decades of meticulous cultivation and unparalleled talent. He represents the epitome of the celestial venerable class, born of supreme lineage, master of the myriad Tao, with 28 celestial palaces at his disposal, a number unmatched by any peer. The stage is set for a collision of absolute power. And collide they do. Founding Emperor's sword path, honed through 34 heavens of relentless progression, strikes like a thunderclap against Hao's domain. What makes this moment remarkable is not merely the clash, but what it reveals. Hao's myriad Tao is dense, preeminent, the result of not just bloodline, but painstaking cultivation. Yet the founding emperor, drawing upon his innate alignment with ancient gods and his era-defining authority, pushes through, breaking Hao's myriad Tao like bamboo beneath a master's swing. This is more than a battle. It is a seismic upheaval of power dynamics. Founding Emperor's strike does not merely wound, it reshapes the battlefield, tearing the sword path and myriad Tao domains outward, engulfing everything in a storm of celestial energy. The audacity here is staggering. He gambles with his domain, unleashing chaos not as collateral, but as weaponized strategy. He isn't just fighting Hao, he is sending a message to every celestial venerable, to every faction, that the old order can bleed. And there is subtle genius in his calculation. By forcing multiple celestial venerables to defend the hall, he opens a window for other ancient gods, Heaven Duke and Earth Count, to intervene. Power is rarely absolute in these tales. It is relational. The founding emperor knows this. He has been groomed, guided by the very forces that once opposed celestial heaven, to invert this balance. One move, and what seemed invincible now faces peril from every angle. Emotionally, this chapter pulses with audacity and resolve. The founding emperor embodies the ideal of a peerless cultivator, calm in presence, ruthless in execution, and yet guided by a grand vision. He wields not just sword and domain, but psychological dominance, His enemies feel the weight of inevitability before steel even touches flesh. This is a classic Xianxia motif, a single individual's will bending heaven itself. For the audience, the stakes are immense. The founding emperor's attack hints at a larger reckoning. The celestial heavens, long regarded as untouchable, are vulnerable. Alliances, strategies, and hidden powers will be revealed in the wake of this clash. Who will seize the advantage, and who will falter under the pressure of a storm born of ambition, legacy, and unstoppable cultivation? And so we watch, knowing that this is not merely a fight over a hall or a title. It is a confrontation of eras, a test of ideals, and a trial of the Tao itself. One question hangs in the air, thick as sword qi. Can even the mightiest celestial venerable withstand a founding emperor who fights not just with technique, but with the weight of destiny on his shoulders? Imagine a world where the very air trembles under the clash of ancient powers, where the sky itself bends to the will of immortals. Today, we witness an unprecedented duel, not just of strength, but of ideologies, of the paths of cultivation that define the fate of gods and mortals alike. At the center stands the founding emperor, a man whose sword is more than steel. It is the culmination of a path that pierces the heavens themselves. Across from him, celestial venerable Hao, a master of the myriad Tao, whose understanding of pre-celestial Tao and half-god heritage grants him insights that few could ever dream to grasp. The tension between them is not just physical, it is philosophical, a collision of the sword that seeks perfection and the Tao that seeks universality. When their powers erupt, the myriad Tao domain clashes violently with the legendary sword path domain, reducing Jade Capital to ruins. Only the immediate vicinity of the venerables remains untouched, a silent testament to the magnitude of their cultivation. This is a moment where destruction is not chaos, it is revelation. The aftermath forces every observer to confront the limits of their own comprehension. And then, amidst the devastation, the founding emperor speaks. Injured, bloodied, yet unbowed, he challenges the very foundation of what these celestial venerables have believed for millennia. With only a single celestial palace, cultivated over 40,000 years, he has matched the combined might of multiple venerables and their legendary halls. His words shake the old hierarchy. The celestial heavens realm, the so-called God realm, are mere constructs, illusions compared to the Tao itself. This is not arrogance. It is clarity born from supreme mastery. Here we see the essence of Xianxia storytelling. Cultivation is not just power, it is philosophy incarnate. The founding emperor demonstrates that true advancement comes from understanding the Tao, not from blindly following historical conjectures or multiplying artifacts and palaces. His 34th heaven of the sword path is not just a level, it is an expression of a cosmic truth, a glimpse into the Tao realm where post-celestial life can ascend to godhood. The chapter also underscores the narrative stakes. Celestial venerables, Hao, Qiang, and Xiao are forced to confront uncomfortable truths. Their centuries of cultivation, their pursuit of the celestial heavens, are shown to be limited, constrained by assumptions that may no longer hold. The founding emperor's critique is both a personal challenge and a reformist vision, one that could redefine cultivation itself. He is not merely fighting, he is reshaping the entire conceptual framework of immortality. The story hints at something even more audacious, the potential rise of a post-celestial life form, one who could surpass all existing paradigms and become an eternal Grand Emperor of the Sword Path. This foreshadows not only a clash of titans, but a shift in the very architecture of Xianxia reality. It forces us, the audience, to consider, what is the ultimate limit of cultivation? Is it the accumulation of artifacts and palaces, or the perfect comprehension of the Tao itself? Finally, the stage is set for chaos and revelation. The sky brightens, the earth darkens, and every attack from these masters threatens to unmake the celestial heaven. Qin Mu and his companions watch in awe and fear, recognizing that the reform the founding emperor is initiating is both beautiful and catastrophic. It is a reminder that in the world of gods and immortals, the progress is never safe. It is explosive, transformative, and often destructive. So we are left with a tantalizing question. As the founding emperor pushes toward the sword path grand overarching heaven, will he merely surpass the celestial venerables, or will he redefine what it means to ascend, to touch the Tao itself? The answer promises a spectacle beyond imagination and a philosophical upheaval that will resonate through every immortal heart. Imagine a realm where the very heavens themselves can fracture under the clash of divine wills, where a single sword swing can rend the sky, and the weight of centuries of cultivation hangs in the balance. This is the scene we step into, as the celestial heavens teeter on the brink of cataclysm. At the heart of this turmoil, celestial venerable Hao faces a reckoning unlike any in countless eons. Bound by no ordinary rules, even the combined might of Heaven Duke, Earth Count, and their legendary guards is insufficient to oppose the cosmic forces now stirring. Divine King Lang Wo, with her vast divine consciousness, traps half of Jade Capital in a space-time cage, rendering the 6 imperial armies, once suppressors of Emperor's Throne practitioners, helpless. Their legendary power is revealed to have limits when confronted with celestial venerable level might, and then the confrontation sharpens. Celestial venerable Xiao charges into the void, propelled by loyalty, suspicion, and unspoken calculations. Lang Wo's words, questioning lineage and allegiances, strike at the very core of Hao's identity. Even the most stoic of Dao hearts can falter when confronted with insinuations of betrayal. And for a moment, Hao hesitates, retreating from the unstoppable force of the founding emperor's sword. This is a rare crack in a legendary figure, a glimpse at the weight of legacy and expectation crushing even the strongest cultivator. But what follows is nothing short of legend. Hao, known for his mastery of divine arts and his usual disdain for weapons, unveils the hidden fruits of centuries of cunning, the myriad Dao heavenly wheel. Here, we witness a moment of pure strategic brilliance and narrative payoff. Hao transforms his hoarded treasures, ancient artifacts stolen from the legendary Celestial Emperor, into an arsenal that spans the 36 great Daos, the 49 heavenly Dao treasures, and the 64 divine weapons of Yudu. Each weapon alone could dominate a world, but together they form a network of power capable of reshaping reality itself, and reshape it they do. As founding emperor's sword strikes and Hao counters with his divine wheel, the celestial heavens quake, splitting along a seam that has never before been tested. This is not mere destruction. It is the reordering of cosmic hierarchy. The multicolored light that erupts from numinous sky treasured hall spreads across the celestial heavens, fissuring palaces and halls, threatening to collapse the entire structure of divine authority. Even distant observers feel it in their Dao hearts, a tremor that transcends physical space and invades the core of one's cultivation, shaking belief and power alike. What this chapter teaches us is profound. Cultivation is not only about strength, but about wisdom, timing, and the hidden potential of one's reserves. Hao's hesitation, his careful concealment of divine treasures, and the tactical unleashing of his myriad Dao heavenly wheel illustrate a principle often overlooked in Xianxia. The strongest blade is not always drawn first, and the greatest might often lies in restraint and preparation. The consequences ripple far beyond the immediate battle. Celestial Venerable Xiao races to stabilize the heavens, patching wounds in reality itself, yet even his skill reveals the cost. The celestial heavens now bear a scar, a permanent reminder that even the divine order is not immutable. Qin Mu, watching from afar, senses the loosening seal of the ancestral court, hinting that this fracture may usher in new conflicts, new cosmic opportunities, and perhaps a reshaping of the power balance that governs the entire universe. As we watch the founding emperor escape as pure sword light, leaving Hao to control the myriad Dao heavenly wheel in pursuit, one question lingers. When the heavens themselves can split, what laws truly bind those who walk the path of immortality? And what unseen forces lie in wait, drawn by the opening rift left in this cataclysmic battle? In this moment, the narrative reminds us why Xianxia is not just about power. It is about consequence, legacy, and the razor's edge between ambition and survival. The celestial heavens are no longer whole, and the story of Hao, Xiao, and the founding emperor has entered a new chapter of legend, one that will echo across realms and through the Dao hearts of all who dare to witness it. Picture a realm so ancient, so boundless, that the very air hums with forgotten power. A place where divine mountains pierce the void and treasures lie scattered like stars fall into the earth. This is the ancestral court, a domain both majestic and deadly, yet eerily silent, inhabited only by colossal void beasts, the primordial predators whose lives are a cycle of hunger, violence, and survival. And in this quiet desolation, a single cosmic event is about to shake the foundations of heaven itself. A crack appears in the sky, not a ripple, not a tremor, but a tear through which the brilliance of the outer world spills in. The void beasts sense it instinctively. Their ancient, instinctual eyes widen, and a frenzy overtakes them. Even the mother of these creatures, her vast skeletal form, guarding millions of eggs, stirs in anticipation. The scene is almost ceremonial. A swarm of tens of millions, driven by instinct and an uncanny connection to the celestial upheaval above. But as they rush toward the crack, the laws of the ancestral court, remnants of godly power, strike mercilessly. The first to attempt escape is obliterated in an instant. Flesh melts, bones shatter, and a river of blood blooms across the scarlet rift. This isn't mere slaughter. It's a testament to the ancient seals, the ingenuity and terrifying might of gods long vanished, defending the boundaries of their legacy against even the most primal of forces. For a moment, the court itself becomes a wound upon the universe, a tableau of life and death intertwined. Now, from afar, we shift our gaze to the celestial heavens. Celestial Venerable Xiao, guardian of these seals, watches in grim realization. Alone, he cannot repair the ancient bindings. Allies are scattered, dead, or bound by grudges too deep to mend. And the stakes? Far beyond the mortal eye. Should the ancestral court's seal shatter, the secrets it harbors and the terror it shelters will bleed into the world. History, once buried, will awaken, and with it, a danger potent enough to shake the foundations of existence. Meanwhile, the great army of celestial heavens feels the tremor even in the distant great void. A subtle, almost imperceptible ripple of power, yet enough to capture the attention of the most attuned. Celestial Venerable Hong reacts immediately, his intuition sharp, recognizing rebellion in the very heart of celestial heavens. And so, a chain reaction begins. The ancient beings, bound by complex histories and rivalries, begin to converge back toward their domain. Their relationships, often tangled with mistrust and old grudges, shape the strategies of both movement and war even before the first clash occurs. Amid this cosmic chessboard, we focus on celestial Venerable Huo, a figure of both resolve and moral complexity. Huo's philosophy is brutally pragmatic. The human race cannot hope to triumph through rebellion. Those who attempt to resist stronger powers, be they ancient gods or the Tao itself, invite annihilation. His actions, often severe and controversial, stem not from cruelty but from a calculated desire to preserve humanity. This is the heavy weight of leadership in a world where morality is measured against survival and cosmic law. Huo's confrontation with celestial Venerable Shu further illuminates the tension between duty and emotion. She, half-god and inscrutable, questions his relentless rigor, while he responds with unflinching logic and cold calculation. Their dialogue is more than debate. It's a philosophical duel over the future of mortals, the limits of loyalty, and the price of survival in a universe indifferent to weakness. Here, the story isn't just about battles. It's about choices that echo across millennia, about who gets to define the path of an entire species. And then the plot tightens. The emergence of Yudu, a bold act that challenges even the ancient hierarchies of power. Shu's sharp reprimand of Huo highlights the dangerous interplay of ambition, authority, and respect within the celestial order. Each figure's next move could ignite conflict that spreads far beyond personal grudges, threatening entire races and realms. What this chapter ultimately reveals is not just the raw spectacle of cosmic power, but the intricate tapestry of strategy, loyalty, and moral philosophy that governs a world of gods and mortals alike. Every roar of the void beasts, every flash of light from a celestial venerable, and every decision made under immense pressure hints at the fragile balance between order and chaos, survival and ambition. So, the question lingers. As the ancestral court bleeds into the cosmos and the celestial venerables converge, who will control this unfolding storm? Which philosophies will prevail? The ruthless pragmatism of Huo, the subtle cunning of Shu, or the chaotic instincts of the void itself? And more importantly, what does the survival of humanity demand in a realm ruled by power far beyond its comprehension? In the next chapter, we will see this cosmic tension unfold further, as ancient seals strain against time, primal beasts test the limits of their instincts, and the delicate dance of loyalty, rebellion, and divine strategy begins to tip toward a reckoning none can ignore.